Hello, dear viewers. Welcome to Royal Telly. I'm your host, Chloe, and today we have quite the story to unravel. That's right, we're not here to discuss the Kate Shines in Red Givenchy piece. Rather, we're focusing on the real headline, the one that uncovers a peculiar pattern in the royal wardrobe. Let's dive right in. The recent news about Kate Middleton, now known as the Princess of Wales, wearing Givenchy and Dior, two labels she has strategically avoided for years, has raised quite a few eyebrows. Why, you ask? Well, it's interesting to note that these were the very labels that Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Sussex, was severely criticized for wearing during her time in the royal spotlight. Meghan made waves in 2018 when she chose Claire Waite-Keller from the French house of Givenchy to design her wedding gown. Critics were quick to question her choice of a non-British designer, calling her dress too simple, too plain, too American, and dare I say it, too not like Kate. Fast forward to today, and we see Kate stepping out in a Givenchy red cape gown, designed by Sarah Burton, the same woman who designed Kate's wedding dress. So what's changed? Why has Givenchy suddenly become acceptable now that it's graced Kate's wardrobe? Is this another chapter in the royal tradition of appropriating Meghan's influence without giving her due credit? Looking closely, Kate's recent fashion choices seem to be following Meghan's blueprint. From boat necklines to monochrome palettes and even the casual luxe looks that Meghan made popular, Kate seems to be mirroring it all. Now, after years of avoiding the labels Meghan was criticized for, Kate wears them boldly, and it's seen as elegance and diplomacy. So the question is, what's changed? Why is Givenchy suddenly acceptable now that it's graced Kate's wardrobe? Could it be a case of royal double standards or something more? Stay tuned as we delve deeper into this intriguing royal fashion mystery. As we delve deeper, it's clear that Kate's fashion evolution has been following Meghan's blueprint for years. Meghan Markle, always a trendsetter, introduced a fresh wave of fashion into the royal family. She embraced boat necklines, monochrome palettes, wide-leg trousers, and the casual luxe looks that became her signature style. She dared to push boundaries and, in doing so, redefined what it meant to dress like a royal. Kate Middleton, on the other hand, had always been one to stick to tradition. Her fashion choices were often conservative and very much in line with what is expected of a royal. But that started to change. Slowly but surely, we began to see elements of Meghan's style reflected in Kate's wardrobe. The boat necklines that Meghan was so fond of started to appear in Kate's outfits. The monochrome palettes that Meghan often wore were echoed in Kate's ensemble choices. And the wide-leg trousers that were a staple in Meghan's wardrobe, Kate started wearing them too. But the most striking evolution in Kate's fashion journey has to be her sudden embrace of the very labels Meghan championed. For years, Kate avoided these labels like the plague. But then, out of the blue, she started wearing them. And not just wearing them, but wearing them boldly and strategically. She wore Givenchy, the same label that Meghan chose for her wedding gown. She wore Dior, the same label that Meghan wore on tour and to events where she was under the microscope. This wasn't a subtle nod to Meghan's style. This was a loud and clear statement, but it's not copying, according to the media. Oh no, it's strategic, it's diplomatic, it's fashion-forward. It's a complete reversal of the narrative that was spun when Meghan wore these same labels. And now, after years of avoiding the very labels Meghan championed, Kate suddenly wears them boldly and strategically, and somehow it's not copying. According to GB News, Kate's Givenchy dress was a message to Meghan. A message? Really? Let's explore this. Let's dissect this so-called message, shall we? What exactly could Kate be signaling by donning Givenchy and Dior, labels that Meghan has previously been criticized for wearing? Is she saying, I finally got permission to wear your favorite designers? Or is it more of a, what was once mocked on you is now hailed on me? Or perhaps the message is, I want what she has, but on my terms. It's an interesting thought, isn't it? Especially when you consider that this is not just about fashion. This is about narrative control. This is about shaping public perception. This is about the power dynamics that exist within the royal family and the media's role in perpetuating them. When Meghan wore Givenchy or Dior, it was often met with criticism. She was accused of being too modern, too American, too unlike her royal counterparts. But when Kate wears the same labels, she's applauded for her fashion-forward thinking and diplomatic dressing. It's a stark contrast, isn't it? And let's not forget about the timing. This wasn't a casual outing or a charity event. This was a state visit with the French president, a high-profile occasion where the royal family's fashion choices are scrutinized the most. And on this day, Kate chose to wear both of Meghan's most famous labels. So is this a coincidence? Or is this a carefully choreographed PR move? Is this really about fashion, or is it about something more? This is about narrative control. When Meghan wore these labels, she was accused of seeking attention. When Kate wears them, she's seen as diplomatic. When Meghan partners with Dior, it's considered elitist. But when Kate wears Dior to meet the French president, it's seen as patriotic, polished, and regal. When Meghan wears it, it's attention-seeking. When Kate wears it, it's diplomacy. But is this fair? Let's continue this conversation. Let's also not forget the timing of this fashion choice. It's no coincidence that Kate Middleton, now the Princess of Wales, chose to don these controversial labels during the state visit of the French president. A moment when all eyes would be on her, scrutinizing her every move, her every choice. Kate wasn't just making a fashion statement, she was making a strategic move in the chess game of royal politics. This wasn't a casual outing or a charity gala where the choice of designer might be overlooked or brushed aside. No, this was a state visit. The stakes were high, and so was the scrutiny. And what better time to send a message than when the world is watching? A message that says, I can wear Givenchy and Dior, and not only will it be accepted, it will be celebrated. But let's not mistake this for mere coincidence. This wasn't a spontaneous decision made on a whim. This was a meticulously planned move, a calculated decision made with full knowledge of the implications. This wasn't just Kate wearing a beautiful dress. This was Kate wearing a beautiful dress designed by a label that Meghan had been criticized for wearing. And she was wearing it at a high-profile event in front of the world's media. This wasn't just about looking good. It was about looking good while subtly, or perhaps not so subtly, undermining Meghan's influence and asserting her own. And then there's the fact that she wore not one, but two of Meghan's favorite labels on the same day. Givenchy and Dior, both worn by Meghan on numerous occasions, both criticized when worn by Meghan, and now both worn by Kate on one of the most important days of her royal career. Coincidence? No, darling. That's choreography. That's PR spin wrapped in red silk and Dior draping. Kate wasn't just wearing a dress. She was wearing a statement. And with that statement, she was rewriting the narrative, taking control of the story, and making it her own. She was playing the game and playing it well. So, what's our final take on this fashion saga? Well, it's clear as a crystal tiara, isn't it? This isn't merely about dresses or labels. This is about narrative control, about who gets to set the tone and who gets to break the mold, about whose choices are celebrated and whose are scrutinized. We've seen the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan, consistently push the boundaries of what's considered royally appropriate. She's championed international designers, she's brought her own flair to the table, and she's done it all with an unapologetic grace that's been met with relentless criticism. Yet, when these same elements are mirrored by the Princess of Wales, they're suddenly hailed as chic, diplomatic, and fashion-forward. Let's not miss the forest for the trees here. This isn't just about Givenchy or Dior. This is about a royal tradition of appropriating Meghan's influence while denying her credit. It's a tale as old as time, but with a modern twist. Meghan's blueprint has been followed, her style has been mirrored, but the applause and appreciation have been conveniently redirected. And the timing, it's no coincidence. The state visit of the French president, a moment of maximum scrutiny, was the chosen stage for this Givenchy and Dior double act. Two labels that Meghan championed, worn by Kate on the very same day. Not random, not unintentional, but a calculated move. A PR spin delicately wrapped in red silk and Dior draping. So let's put the pieces together. This is about more than just fashion. This is about narrative control, about who gets to set the tone and who gets to break the mold. This is about the power of perception, the influence of the press, and the subtle and not so subtle ways the royal family navigates these waters. And above all, this is a reminder to always look beyond the headlines, beyond the bright lights and the beautiful gowns, because sometimes the real story is hidden in the seams. Thank you for joining us today on Royal Telly. I'm your host, Chloe, reminding you to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay royal.